Hi, friends. We're here to share with you the topic of today's lesson, and we're going to be continuing talking a little bit about the hydrosphere. Now, last time that we met, it was before Christmas, and we did some testing to see how much of the earth is covered with water, and that's what our hydrosphere is, right? So what does the Greek part of the word hydro mean? Do you remember?
Water?
Water, that's right. And you're going to hear in today's reading that we're going to use that root word, hydro, hydra, a lot of times. And you can hear that sometimes if you hear different words like hydrated, means you've got enough water in you, or dehydrated when you don't have enough water, or the fire hydrant, right? So you can hear that word, that Greek word that you've learned. So today we're going to continue talking a little bit about our hydrosphere, but we're going to talk about what happens when it becomes polluted, and specifically what happens if it were to become polluted with oil. All right? So we were talking about the hydrosphere, which has to do with one of the spheres on Earth, and it's dealing with water. So today, we're going to take that a step further about what can happen if the hydrosphere gets polluted. So let me read you a little something, all right? Many plants and animals, they live in the water. And there are also animals like seabirds and frogs that rely on water to survive. Now, if the water's polluted, it can be really harmful for them. And an area becomes polluted when something that is harmful to the biosphere gets into that area. Now, oil in the ocean is harmful to the animals and plants that live in the water and that need it to survive. Sources of pollution, they can come from nature, but they can also come from people. Now, there are vents on the ocean floor that oil seeps from naturally. So these are natural sources of oil pollution. But there's also oil spills that can be caused by ocean drilling, and sometimes people dump oil into the ocean. And these are what we call manufactured sources of oil pollution. People often try to clean up oil spills in ocean waters. And they also try to get the oil off living things that have become coated in oil. Today, actually, if you have a chance, there's a little experiment that you can do where you would manufacture an oil spill, because it wouldn't be a natural oil, right, coming from up out of the ocean floor. So you'd be manufacturing an oil spill, and you get to kind of experiment and see, is it easy, you think, to clean up oil from water, or do you think that would be tricky?
That would be really hard.
You think so? And if you do the experiment, it might be a great idea to write some of these guesses, hypotheses that you have. Did I say that right? Hypothesis? Hypotheses, I think that's the better term. You can write down your guesses. You can write down the steps that you took to do your experiment. And there's lots of different experiments that you could find, but I have linked one for you on the website. So if you want, you can try that one out and write down what you discover. All right. So I'm going to give you a little bit more information. What is an oil spill? An oil spill is a form of pollution generally found in a marine ecosystem. You know what marine is?
Not really.
Have you ever heard of marine animals? Where do those animals typically live?
In the ocean?
Yeah, marine has to do with the ocean. However, oil spills can happen on land too, but it's usually more common in the ocean. An oil spill occurs when oil leaks or when it spills into the water. And oil spills can also happen in lakes and rivers. Well, you might be thinking, what causes an oil spill, huh?
Like boats? Do boats let out?
Ooh.
Are cars on the road?
I don't know. What do you think? Oil spills, usually they're caused by accidents. But sometimes they can be caused by human error or by carelessness. And these accidents involve tankers, really, really big tankers, and barges and oil drill rigs. Maybe you've looked out on the ocean when you've been driving down PCH, and you may see some of these things out in the ocean. If you don't know what they are, maybe the next time you're driving by the ocean, you can ask your parents to point it out to you. And also, these accidents involve other places or methods of transportation that store or hold large amounts of oil. Well, why do you think oil spills are harmful?
Because they can hurt the animals.
You think that's probably one of the biggest things?
Because if the animals breathe it in, it hurts some lungs. Because they get it in their lungs, and
Yeah.
might be hard to breathe.
Can you think of any other reasons, friend, why maybe an oil spill might be harmful? Well, they definitely are harmful to marine birds and mammals, as well as fish and shellfish. The oil, it coats their feathers and the fur of marine life, which leave them susceptible to hypothermia. Ooh, that's a big word. Hypothermia, do you know what that means? It means that they get too cold. Hypothermia. And that's because their fur and their feathers can't protect them from the weather.
Or maybe oils make them make their feathers stick together so they can't move it
That's right.
be a burn.
To be a barrier from the cold. And additionally, an oil spill can contaminate their food supply, or it can contaminate the food chain. What do you think would happen if we ate a fish that had been in all that oil? Could it make us sick?
It can make you sick without cooking it, because if you cook it, all the germs go away, and if you eat it while it's not cooked, it's not good for you.
Unless it's sushi. That's good.
Sushi's really good.
All right. Well, additionally, marine mammals that eat fish or other food exposed to an oil spill, they could be poisoned by oil. So that's not good for the little animals.
Fish.
Now, how do we clean up an oil spill? Well, maybe you've seen a commercial for the Dawn dish soap. Have you ever seen those commercials?
I think so.
You think so?
I've seen the scrub one. That one's really funny. Where you take a sponge.
Well, you know, dish
one's
soap helps to break up oil, doesn't it? That's why we use it to clean our dishes, because usually there's a lot of oil in our foods that we cook with. And I lost my spot. Hold on one second. Well, they use it to clean thousands of animals affected by oil spills. But how does it do that? I'll tell you how it does that. The soap, it breaks up the oil into smaller drops that can mix with the water and wash it away. And the chemistry behind soap is the key. Each end of the soap is made of different molecules. One end hates the water. It's called hydrophobic. Oh, did you hear that word hydro again?
Yeah.
What does hydro mean?
Hydro water.
Right. And phobic would kind of mean like it hates it. It hates water. So one end hates water and the other loves water. It's called hydrophilic. Oh, there's that hydra again, huh?
I know what the soap can do.
All right. Hope you learned a little bit about oil spills, what causes them, what they are, and maybe again, if you do your experiment, you can see what it would be like to try and clean up an oil spill, and that's just in a small container. But you can imagine what that might be like out in the ocean, and why it's so important that we do our part to try to make sure that if we ever had oils or things that need to be disposed of, that we have to get rid of, that we don't just dump it down the drain where it would go out into the ocean and cause these problems, but where there's places where we could drop it off, because we want to make sure that we take care of this beautiful earth that the Lord gave us, right?
Make sure.
Make sure you have fun while you're doing it.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, friends.
Bye.